Uh,
Hello,
quick question: Why is Chris Priestman? Why is Chris vomiting rainbows?
thank you for messing up my intro again.
I, I don't I don't care. This is a pressing question, Fedora.
We'll get
Why
to
is
that.
Chris vomiting rainbows?
Anyway, that's my hilarious sidekick, GingerDragon. I am Fedora Gamer, and welcome to the Randomly Generated Podcast. This week we have Chris Priestman, aka that British guy that vomits rainbows and makes a lot of words.
That's what I do, yeah.
Pretty much. That's
Rainbow words.
rainbow words. And our guest,
Yes.
no, we're changing it up a little bit. He's not a YouTuber or a streamer. He is a purveyor of the written word. Getting a little different on this. He has actual talent, unlike the rest of us. Well, besides Rob, but unlike us YouTubers.
I wouldn't go that far. Yeah.
He's also British, and that's enough of a reason to be on my podcast.
You and your British fetish.
Okay.
You're like my fifth British guest I've had on this podcast. I apparently I have a thing for British accents. I neither confirm nor deny that.
Well, unfortunately, mine's a really bad accent. So, I mean, there are people with like really nice British accents, but mine's just terrible. So,
They all sound the same to me, so it's all right.
okay.
But no, I know what you're talking. It's like the gutter British accent, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I come from the bloody gutters, mate. I do.
The tough accents. There you go. That's the better kind, in my opinion. And our guest indie developer is the one most likely to actually be a superhero is Rob Storm or Mr. Storm.
Hey, what's going on?
Tell me that name's not a superhero name. Seriously.
His superpowers
Hey,
to summon maelstroms that kill everything.
There you go.
He is the developer
Okay.
of, I forget the name of your game now, Project Stormos. Stormos?
So,
Yes.
And it's pretty damn interesting. You guys will be seeing that a little bit later in the podcast. Let's go ahead and check how the audio is. Before we get too far into it with them not being able to hear you. Alright, and then of course in GingerDragon loves to screw up my intros. That's going to be a thing from now on, isn't it?
I always have to find a way. It's just the way it is.
But let's get to that question of yours, is why is Chris Priestman vomiting rainbows? That's because that's what his Twitter avatar is doing, so I decided to add that to the podcast title screen as well. If you didn't notice that, Chris, you are spewing rainbows on your generic silhouette is spewing a rainbow.
By the way, Fedora, the chat is very mad at you for not mentioning Superboss's other game, Intruder.
We will be
Yeah.
talking about that when we get to the game segment, actually. Intruder, of their two games, I picked to show off the other one, but Intruder is a game they are also working on. They're both in, like, alpha and beta stage, aren't they?
Yeah, that's true. We
Yeah.
usually have a lot of things going on, and then even Chris can ask you. Chris and I have tried working on some stuff on the side too, so we're pretty
yeah.
interested in a lot of different types of game genres. So we just kind of go at them all at once.
Yeah, as I say, you ever think about finishing something before starting another thing? But like, I can talk. I have so much unfinished stuff. I can't even fathom it. They're
Yeah.
both great
You
games,
should
though.
be happy, Fedora. Your channel thrives off of unfinished stuff.
Like our Terraria series. It's not really thriving off it. You get a lot more views off those videos than I do.
Maybe.
Yeah, we'll finish that someday.
No, I was referring more to the Kickstarters and Alphas. I mean, that's
Oh,
two-thirds
yeah.
of your content.
Good point. I cover a lot of Kickstarters and a lot of in-development games, so that it's actually been rare lately that I cover a completely finished game. Most of the stuff sent my way is a Kickstarter or in development, and I stopped to think about that the other day. It's like, wow, I need to get my hands on some more actually finished games. But I want to target Chris for a minute since I have him cornered and I suckered him into this. For anyone that doesn't know who Chris Priestman is, he's a indie game or video game journalist, pretty well known in my opinion. I greatly respect his work, and he's a great writer. But you've been teasing on Twitter the last couple days about what you're going to be doing in the future. I want to see if I can squeeze some more info out of you about that.
Stuff is in the works. That's probably all I'm gonna say for now.
Oh, don't make me sick my dragon on you.
I will kill your dragon. I've already killed him 3 times.
Excuse me, words. You and your damn words. That's all your human species is.
I use my words for everything.
He does.
You will die
We're-
under my words once again.
The
And I
pen
will eat
is
your
his
pizza.
sword.
Oh, that's my pizza though. Get away.
What does a dragon have for topping on a pizza?
Pepperoni.
Hobbits.
That was kind of a boring answer.
What were you expecting? Like fucking human skulls or something? That's not healthy.
Jibs of fallen knights is what I was expecting.
Again, with the healthiness, it tastes good, but it's horribly unhealthy. You combine that with pizza, I mean, you're gonna live a short life.
Well, quit eating fat humans.
Sorry, that's
Yeah.
all that exists anymore nowadays.
We can capture.
Ouch, human race.
I think you're a racist dragon.
Also, the scent of Axe and Old Spice gets really annoying after a while.
Whoa, ooh, ouch, bachelors.
No comment. Okay, let's get on into what we've been playing this week. Leak. That is a word, but not in this context. But let's start with GingerDragon. What have you been playing this week?
Played some more Assassin's Creed 4. Also played some Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance. My God, that game was awesome.
Yeah, how are the fights in that? Did you ever play like Devil May Cry 3 or any of those?
No, this is literally my first spectacle fighter. So
What?
Yeah, I mean, you
Really couldn't
definitely
compare
like those then.
I'm gonna point out that revengeance isn't a word. Just gonna say that.
no, it isn't. But that just means you don't need a word when you're playing a game about high frequency laser swords and killing giant robots that moo like cows.
It's a portamento.
They moo.
Yes, the two-legged mechs like to moo. I don't know why.
This actually sounds really creepy.
Yeah, that was one of the best things in the original Metal Gear was Rex roaring too. All the robots make sounds like they're monsters.
Moo. That doesn't make it sound like a monster. It makes it sound like it's cattle that's meant for food.
I'm gonna milk a robot.
Yeah. I've seen several videos of that game. My God, is it over the top ridiculous, and which is always awesome.
I mean, when I noticed it was made by Platinum, it was one of those things I knew it was gonna be good because Vanquish was also really good. It's pretty much the only third-person shooter I've fully enjoyed.
Platinum doesn't make very much bad stuff, but it's rare for any of it to come to PC. So that's a nice change. I actually want to
Admittedly,
check
the
that out.
physics in Revengeance were a bit janky. I'm not sure. Apparently, that's my PC because no one else has these problems. But stuff will just start like floating.
Aren't
I
you
don't know
getting a
why.
new PC built pretty soon, though?
I've got the parts right here.
Yeah, you just tweeted about that you're almost late for the podcast because you went to get the parts, right?
7 minutes. It's plenty of time. Oh, excuse me. It's plenty of time. That
That
is the lunch I'm eating right now as a result of going to get those PC parts.
I've learned not to eat or drink soda while on the podcast when you're talking for extended periods of time because of that.
Whatever, the Belgians make the kids laugh.
Yeah, it might have
But-
smelled like charred night, but
A little bit. And the last one was some new Super Mario Bros. U.
I hear that's pretty damn good.
I've explained to you what that is. You should probably just, you should probably rethink your interests.
Is it as wonderful as people say?
I like it, but in the end, it's another Mario game.
Yeah.
They finally got the flight right in that one with the squirrel suit. The flying with the squirrel suit is fantastic.
That's good. I won't
doesn't-
be going
it-
running out and buying a Wii U to play it, but
Oh yeah, if you have one, definitely pick it up. Fun game.
All right, let's go ahead and jump over to Rob Storm. What have you been playing? Assuming
I've been
indie
trying
devs
to-
play games.
I've been trying to, yeah, that's true. I have been playing a lot of Intruder, but I've been trying to get into Nino Kuni a little bit, and I've also been playing this sweet board game called Twilight Struggle, which is like the top board
Please.
game on this board game website called Board Game Geek, which is pretty cool. So
Please tell me that
That's
has
what I've
nothing
been
to do
doing.
with the Twilight series.
no, it's
Oh,
like
God.
a Cold War thing. It's like if you mixed Risk and Magic the Gathering into one game.
That actually sounds pretty amazing. Just
Yeah, it is pretty cool.
just unfortunate that their name got tarnished by a terrible book/movie series.
Yes, Twilight. Twilight's a good word too, and now it's forever broken. Sucks.
Exactly. I don't know any very many nerdy people around me, so I never get to play any of the cool board games out there. I really need to check some of them out.
Yeah, like as an indie developer, looking at board games is pretty cool because if you think about with a board game, you have to be able to play it repeatedly over and over again, and it has to be different and interesting every single time, you know? Like if you play like some game that's pretty linear and you can have a cool experience the first time playing it, but then the next time it's going to be the same thing. It's cool to go back and look at board games because a lot of them still have like a sense of atmosphere to them, even though what's going on could be completely random, but it still feels like one kind of story that you're going through, which is neat.
It's too bad that video game adaptations of some good board games are rather hit and miss.
Yeah, that's true. This is like Wolfire's tried doing that thing where they make like where you're actually rolling the dice yourself and stuff like that, like in what's called Desperate Gods, I think.
Never heard of it. I know like
I think I heard of that.
that Warhammer game, the video game adaptation of a board game that came out recently was pretty.
Space Hulk.
Yeah, Space Hulk was pretty meh. I played a little bit of it.
Blood Bowl's a bit like a board game, though, isn't it? I heard that
Blood
one's
Bowl
good.
is a adaptation from the Blood Bowl board game, and while the video game adaptation of it is very janky and wonky in a lot of ways, it still keeps the feel and is fun as playing Blood Bowl the board game, from my understanding. But it's definitely not a perfect game. Okay, quit mowing down on stuff. Jesus Christ.
Is it really that loud? Well, shit.
Quit eating your
I didn't think it was that
microphone.
loud.
Microphone's not food. Okay,
Delicious
Yeah, the big
computer
black-
The little
parts.
fuzzy thing on the tip, it looks so good.
looks like a small animal that you need to devour.
Exactly, it's like a little tiny sheep.
Hey, you been playing anything else, Rob, before we get off track a little bit more?
I want to start playing Resident Evil 1 again so I can look at some more games with fixed camera angles. Chris and I have been talking about that a lot before.
Oh, but why
So,
look at
Yeah,
a game
we
with
love fixed camera angles.
why
Yeah.
look at a game with
Fixed-
terrible fixed camera angles though? Oh my god.
Because it really gives like a cinematic feel and just kind of like if you think about how so many stories like in movies and stuff that you ever see, like part of telling the story in the movie is the fact that the camera is where the director put it. I mean, with cinema, the whole like art of it is just like where the camera is and when it switches to this and how immersive that is when you add in some good music and sound effects and all that is I think it's a really powerful effect, and I wish there were more games like that now because my favorite games had fixed camera angles in them.
You know, I've never thought of it that way. That's a very good point. Very interesting. I mean, it can be done well. Resident Evils aren't particularly great for that, unless you like humping the corner of a wall for 10 seconds, but...
Oh, I get used to those controls super quickly, though, now. I mean, because I played them when I was younger, so, like, the tank controls and all that I have no problem with.
Granted, things can go just as wrong with a non-fixed camera in a lot of games,
Yeah,
so...
sure.
Alright, how about you,
Depends on
Chris? What have you been playing, Mr. Priestman?
Well, today I think I showed everyone on Twitter that I was playing The Floor is Jelly. I don't know if you saw any of my images, but I posted about 5,
Yeah,
six images of myself playing.
I was looking at that work. Looks pretty interesting. I'm not huge into platformers, but, you know, if the platformer has a good angle to it, I will get interested in it.
Well, obviously the title pretty much gives away what it's about. Every like platform, I guess you could call them, in the game is kind of wobbly. So you kind of use it as a trampoline quite often, at least in the beginning, to like propel yourself up to ledges and things. But what surprised me about it, and I don't want to say too much because it's not out yet or anything, so but what surprised me about it was that a few levels into the game there are puzzles based around wobbly floors and introducing new mechanics, and then there's the ending of the game, which is incredible. It's like it kind of reminded me of Fez in many ways. Maybe because of like it has Disaster Pieces music, but also because of something that happens in the game and what it becomes eventually. It's much more than just like a platformer with wobbly floors. That's all I'm going to say because I don't want to spoil it. But it's really interesting.
Does sound really
I have to
interesting.
look into that.
Do you have any
Yeah.
idea on its release, when it's going to get released, how long?
Oh yeah, it's coming out on January 30th, and you can get it on the website, which is thefloorisjelly.com, and there's the Humble Store widget, I think. Maybe it's on the Humble Store page as well, I'm not sure.
I always wonder about that. Does every game that ever had a Humble Store widget before the storefront came about, did they automatically end up on the store? I always wondered
No,
that.
not yet. I think I spoke to someone from Humble before to ask them that kind of question, and I think they said that eventually every game will be on there. At the moment, they're still adding them kind of slowly. So, but yeah, I think eventually that's the plan.
There is a lot of them, so that would be quite a bit to get through. The logistics of that would probably be a nightmare.
Yeah. Plus, like, just dumping loads of them on there kind of doesn't give any of them a chance, I guess, as well, to like, get some attention or anything.
Yeah, and then it has to be on the developers, too, to fill out their page description and all of that stuff. So you got to wrangle all the developers to fill that stuff out, and it can't be easy. All right, been playing anything
I'm sure
else?
it's not too much. Actually, I haven't had too much. Well, actually, I have loads to play, but I've kind of been taking a break. So when I take a break, there's always one game I end up playing. It's Dark Souls. So I've been playing Dark Souls
Oh, yeah.
in preparation for Dark Souls 2, which is what, March the 18th or something.
Pretty soon,
So-
yeah.
I'm getting pretty hyped up for Dark Souls 2 now,
Yeah.
and just kind of playing through
Aren't we
Dark
all?
Souls millions of times.
See, I...
I've definitely gone over 250 hours on that game now.
Oh,
easily.
Jesus. Dark Souls Pro at this point.
I've got, like,
Easily.
80 hours myself. Fun
Yeah.
game.
I have
I can't stop playing it.
0
Oh no,
hours.
117. Whoa, that was a underestimate.
I've never actually
The
played
cool thing
Dark
about it
Souls.
is when you show Dark Souls to new people, they kind of like, I've shown it to people and they didn't really like it at first, and they think, "Oh, this is just horrible. I don't want to play this." But then when they stop, something in their brain kind of ticks over, and they're like, "I need more of that." So it just reels you in really slowly, and once it's got you, it's like,
It's got you.
that's it.
Playing Dark
You're in.
Playing Dark Souls is like getting kicked in the junk repeatedly and then going back for more.
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah,
It
maybe.
is kind of like that.
If you're a masochist, you
Yeah.
have to include that part.
Dude, I would have moments after playing Demon Souls and Dark Souls where I'd be like going to sleep and I'd be thinking about like, I wonder where I should try to go next and what item I should try to get. Like, I heard if you do this, then this will like fall out of the sky and then you can get it. Like, it's so weird how it wraps you up and just kind of the mysteries of the gameplay and how they connected all these weird things together. It's great.
Yeah.
The cool thing about it is there's so many kind of secrets in there as well that really are not obvious at all. I don't know if you know about I can't think what it's called. There's a large tree in Blighttown that you can go in there and there's just like a dead body with an item.
Oh,
But there's
yeah,
like hidden
behind
walls in
that.
there, and you can go into the tree and find the ash lake and everything. But like you can completely miss that so easily, and I just love how that's there. In the
I
game.
totally missed that the first time through the game. I didn't
Yeah,
see it
I think
until I
I-
actually went back to it.
Yeah, I unfortunately, I watched Northern Lions LP of that before I actually played the game, even though I knew I shouldn't have. And I found that secret completely on accident, and I'm just befuddled. I'm like, what? I mean, started to proceed and explore that area, and it was just awesome.
The best
That
part
this
is
secret
that
existed.
yeah, the best part is that they put it behind two secret walls. So you smash one wall and there's an item there, and you're like, "Oh, that's a great thing I found." And then you would just
Yeah, yeah.
normally just
Yeah.
turn around and leave, but there's actually another wall behind the already secret wall, which is just it's great for kind of setting up your gameplay expectations and then smashing them down.
I've never actually played it. It's a game that I've owned and I've wanted to pick up, but I guess I'm just scared of the time investment it takes to actually get decent at that game. And then Dark Souls 2 was announced, and I'm just like, I'll just play Dark Souls 2 when that comes out.
Honestly, the most of the time investment you have to do is just finding your particular weapon of choice. After you find that, it
Yeah.
actually becomes pretty easy.
Yeah.
Once you get to grips with like how humanity works and how Souls works and
Yeah.
generally how the game flows, it's kind of like, oh, okay, I can do this. Then you get you sort your weapon out, and then you stick with it, and then upgrade it, and then you just go for it, basically.
I mean, once you understand how the game works, it actually gets pretty easy, believe it or not.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah,
There's a couple of
it's
moments that
pretty
are a pain
fair
in the
most
ass.
of the time.
Oh yeah.
That's the crux of it, is that it's hard but fair.
It's hard,
It's
it's
just a
hard,
case
but
of getting
fair,
to-
but fair.
Like, if it had like a load of tutorials and stuff, it would just be kind of a normal game. But because it's kind of standoffish and doesn't really want to give you too many clues, or just wants you to discover how it works and what best tactics are, it feels, as some people think, it's just really hard. But it's just, you have to work at it a little bit. That's all.
It's also a game I think I would scared to play because I know if I start, I will lose a lot of time to that game.
Correct.
Time that I don't generally have. My channel would suffer because of it.
Yeah, definitely. I just luckily I managed to complete it like 2 years ago. So once you've completed it, you can get through the game in like a few hours nearly, if you know what you're doing.
Yeah.
So
That
when I
video
play
of
it,
that
just-
guy beating it in under an hour is insane. Yeah,
yeah,
he's
not quite that.
Oof. Nuts.
Yeah, speedrun is crazy.
Alright, so I guess I should go ahead to what I've been playing. I've been playing quite a bit of Out There. Any of you guys heard of it? I believe...
Yes.
No.
I thought Chris did.
The FTL-ish kind of game.
Yes, it's on mobile, which I don't normally talk about or cover mobile games, but I'm actually going to cover this one using BlueStacks probably in the next couple days. It is goddamn wonderful. It is kind of FTL-y. It's got permadeath, but I don't believe I've been playing the demo, the beta demo, which is actually capped off at 30% of content, so you can actually get all the way through the game. I've been playing it quite a bit on my phone, and it seems like the universe is static. Like everything in the universe is static, so it's not randomly generated. It doesn't have that randomly generated aspect to it, but the universe is huge. There's tons to explore, and if you learn where good things are and remember how to get to them, you can do it on your next run if you end up failing, which you probably will quite a bit because it is quite difficult. But there are random events, though, that happen when you're traveling between points, and the random events aren't set in stone. But it does seem like the star systems and planets are, which is pretty interesting. And there's no combat in the game whatsoever. It's all about exploration and resource management and discovery. And
Nice.
you die a lot, but not usually at the hands of hostile aliens, usually because of running out of fuel, because you have to go and probe gas planets to get helium or hydrogen to refuel, and then you have to go and mine mineral-rich planets or drill mineral-rich planets to get different elements to, iron. Like, you need iron on hand all the time to repair your systems if they get damaged. And then you also want the other kinds of elements to craft new components for your ship to make your ship better. But every time you craft a component for your ship, it takes up a slot on the ship, which gives you less room to carry elements around that you need, like fuel, to be able to refuel, because you burn through fuel really quickly in that game. It is
Yeah, there's also
amazing.
another game similar to it. If you ever heard of Rimmed Racer?
What was that?
If you ever heard of a game called Rimmed Racer, it's a really weird title.
No, I haven't.
It's kind of similar to it, but you should check that out if you get a chance to.
But OutThereGame.com, you can pre-order it now and get the beta demo, and it's due to be out the full in its entirety in about a month, I think is what I heard last from the developers. So it's around a month and the entire game will be out. It is great. It's beautiful. The music is great, done by the same composer that did music for Stanley Parable and Antechamber.
Nice.
Robin Arnott. Is it Robin Arnott?
Nice.
I don't know. I just remember the press email I got from the
presume it
developer.
I presume it is. I didn't know he was doing the sound for it.
Yeah, the game is so good.
Also, it looks like, one thing I really like about it has like a 1950s comic
book
kind of art style.
Mhm.
Yeah, definitely.
It does. And it's just a
It's
lot
really
of
cool.
fun, even though there's not any combat, which I find to be kind of a refreshing change of pace from your standard space game. So And let's see what else I've been playing. Dungeons of Dreadmore. Been playing quite a bit that the last couple of days because it's a game I've owned for a very long time and never got around to playing. And then it showed up on the Humble Weekly sale, and I'm like, I should actually play some of that. So I've probably sunk about 5 hours into that in the last couple of days. I've made it to like floor 2. Yay for roguelikes! I love roguelikes though. So
They keep it fun.
yeah, most of it's just been learning. Because like when you pick all your different skills, it doesn't really tell you what's in that skill tree, and so I end up making several very crap builds and not lasting very long. So it's just been mostly me trying to learn the mechanics and learn how to build a character in that game that isn't just like waiting to die.
Yeah.
So that's about all I've been playing.
That's what Dark Souls is like.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much actually.
Yeah.
It sounds exactly the same.
I was gonna say that, but I didn't want to bring up Dark Souls again because we were talking.
We'll talk about it for a
three
while.
people in here who can talk about Dark Souls till the end of time, so.
And I'll just take a nap. Go ahead. All right, let's go ahead and move on to news topics, shall we? Oh, where do we want to start? Let's go ahead and start with the Microsoft Machinima nonsense.
Oh, God.
Yeah, which is very relevant to YouTubers, being me and GingerDragon. And basically what was going on is Machinima had a deal with Microsoft that Machinima partners could make a video that was something about the Xbox One and was either neutral or positive. And the people that qualified for the promotion would then get an extra $3 CPM on that video, which is a quite significant increase in pay for a video. And yes, that's real scummy, but then in Machinima's, now granted, Microsoft says they had nothing to do with this clause in the contract that Machinima gave to their partners, but in Machinima's contract, it said you cannot disclose that this is part of this promotion, which is actually against the FTC's guidelines for promotional video and endorsements that says that those should always be disclosed that it is a promotion or endorsement.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's real scummy.
A lot of people have I think what I've seen is some people having a go at YouTubers, but I guess for them, from their perspective, it's quite a good deal, even though they're having to like not lie, but be, what's the word, deceptive, I guess, or something like that to their audience.
Yep. That's your integrity goes out the window if you're doing something like that.
Yeah.
YouTubers can be a pretty easy fruit to pick too, because a lot of times they're trying to make sure that they're getting popular, and at the lower levels it doesn't pay super well. And then if you've got some huge company rolling around, and you might have thousands of viewers or something like that, but that still, I mean, from YouTube, from ads and stuff like that, isn't a ton you're going to get just from that. And then if some big company rolls around, it's a pretty tempting offer.
It wouldn't tempt me at all because I wish I had thousands of subscribers, Jesus. But that $3 per 1,000 views, I don't get enough views for that to even matter anyway, so it's really the big ones that are going to get several thousand views on their video, or hundreds of thousands of views on their video, that actually really pays off for.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
It's a strange kind of new thing though, isn't it? The whole YouTube thing, because like if that was, it's strange for me because when I write, I just say it's blogging or whatever, which is basically the same as, or I kind of see it as the same as what YouTubers do when they just kind of play a game or whatever.
Yeah, you're just doing it with an outdated medium.
Yeah, but it's kind of like there's different rules because we are considered like journalists or something, even though I've never called myself that. So I would never do that, and if I did, I'd be like burned at the stake. But there's kind of like, it's kind of fine in some cases for YouTubers to accept money from companies to talk about their game, either not just positively, but just to talk about their game, kind of thing.
Or just to play it, not even talking about, but just for that person to play it in some kind of promotion.
Just to cover, not having like not having to generally be positive about it or anything like that. Just covering it.
Yeah.
Whereas we could never get because it would be like, oh my god, you're corrupt, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
It's kind of strange.
I think it's better too, at least if the YouTuber themselves can be like transparent about it, like,
Yeah,
oh,
if you
like
can
this
disclose the
company
deal.
paid me to talk about this, so I'm gonna do that, and I'm still gonna give you my honest opinion, but I just want to let you guys know. I think some of that transparency can be really good for kind of making sure that your viewers still trust you and that people aren't gonna start being cynical of all YouTubers, period.
Mhm.
There are some exceptions, I should say, because there are promoted posts and things. Like on PC Gamer, as an example, they have promoted posts where someone has paid to put that post on there and they've written about it. So it's kind of, I guess, the same as that, really.
Yeah. But the YouTubers were part of this are not getting away with it. They're getting pretty much burnt at the stake for it. You pretty much sold out your integrity. If you if you do like the Xbox One personally, there's no way to prove that that is your actual opinion and not paid for opinion.
The seeds of doubt have already been sown.
Exactly.
Sucks because it's gonna affect all the other ones as well. I mean, all the YouTube integrity goes down at this point, unfortunately.
Yeah, now a lot of people don't trust any YouTubers, and I will clearly state that I have never had run any kind of promotional material on my channel. The most I've ever got.
I'll just make sure they know.
If I ever
regulations and all
if
that.
I ever did, I would. I'm not saying I never would, but I never have. I did have an offer of something like that once from a company that represents free-to-play games, and if you make a video and use a special link and people go sign up for that free-to-play game, you get like 20 or so cents for each person that signs up for the game, which seems like an interesting alternate monetization method, but none of the games on their list even really fit the criteria for my channel anyway, and I generally dislike the free-to-play business model, so I turned it down. But I would be, if I ever did anything that was promotional, or endorsement paid for, one, I would disclose it 100%, like the FTC says you should, and two, it would never be in a video content format where I would be giving my opinion on the game. I would not critique it at all. It would just be me playing it, like a good example of that is the chivalry tournaments with Polaris and whatnot, where they're not really there. They're not giving you their opinions of the game. They're just playing it with their other YouTuber friends,
Playing it and having fun. Why wouldn't you want to get paid for just having fun?
Exactly. Now, when you're doing it something like that, then it's perfectly acceptable, in my opinion. You're not giving any critical analysis or opinion on it. You're just playing it.
Yeah.
Someone should probably make maybe just a short web page, like a one-page web page that has I don't know, some good pointers or places where you can see some of these kind of rules and laws, like the FTC stuff that you're talking about and all that, just in one place to know about what you should disclose or not, and all that kind of stuff. Might be useful for people who are starting up YouTube streams or anything like
ideally
that.
you should disclose everything,
Yeah.
Be honest with the viewers, earn their trust. But
Yeah,
I can see where you're coming from, though, definitely.
Your integrity is not worth whatever that company is paying you. That's my say on it. And these FTC guidelines went into effect in the middle of last year, so they're fairly new. But most of the respectable networks, most of the respectable YouTube networks, like was TGN back then, now Polaris and whatnot, sent out emails about it to their network partners, saying that these are the new rules, and if you accept any promotion, always disclose it. Then there's networks like Machinima that says you shouldn't disclose this because it'll make us look like sellouts.
Illegal! I don't see no sick birds!
Now, there was a response on from the FTC about this whole thing that I read on some gaming site earlier today that I can't remember. But the FTC responded about this entire thing on Microsoft and said that there's no legal action could be taken because these are just guidelines. They are not laws. They are guidelines to keep people from doing things that could end up being illegal eventually, and it's best practices to follow them, but there is no actual legal recourse against what Microsoft and Machinima did. It's just guidelines. So a lot of people are like, they're breaking the law with this. Well, no, it's a guideline. It's not a law. So
doesn't change the fact they're still scum.
Yes, it is. It doesn't change that it is extremely scumtastic to be doing that. So All right, let's
Every
go.
time I hear the word scum, I think of
Northern
Monkey
Lion.
Island.
Oh, I thought you were about to say Northern Lion.
Monkey Island.
All right, and I had another news topic. What was it? I put it in chat a little bit earlier in our Skype
the
chat.
Candy
Kickstarter
Crush
thing?
stuff.
Or Candy
Yeah, sorry,
Crush?
Candy
Oh yes, King, the developers of Candy Crush Saga, extremely generic and cloney game that somehow is popular, decided they're going to trademark the word candy. Yes, the word candy. Very generic English word. And they got approved for that trademark, and now they are using it to trademark troll. They're also doing it with the word saga, and they are trying to go after or are trying to go after Banner Saga.
Seriously?
Yes.
God damn it.
They trademarked the word candy. Now, this highlights a massive flaw in the U.S. trademark legal system that was even allowed to happen.
Did they get it
I think
in
it
the
happened in
US, or
Europe,
did they
too.
still only happen or did it only happen in Europe? I thought they were still pending on their US trademark.
I didn't read too deeply into this. I just saw tweets about it, so I don't know. Chris wrote about this, so he knows more about it than I do.
Yeah, it's a really kind of tricky situation because the problem is we don't really know that much about how it all works, and King said their defense for doing what they're doing, going after like the Banner Saga and stuff, and even though they say they're not actually going after the Banner Saga, they're not trying to remove it, they're just trying to protect their trademark, and that's what they have to do because it's their trademark. And it's a really awkward situation because for me, when I'm reporting on it, I have to try and be not on too many sides. Like I can't go, oh, this is terrible, blah blah blah, because I don't know all of the reasons and the facts and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But obviously, I have to try and find as much of it out as I can. But it's a really kind of weird trademark law and that kind of thing.
Yeah, trademark laws are pretty garbage, actually. And this is actually a pretty common thing, especially in the mobile space. I know some years back when the rise of mobile was happening, there was some trademark troll. A company that only existed to own trademarks and to troll money off of those had the word edge trademarked and went over after several mobile games that used the word edge in their title.
Alright, so real quickly in chat, we got, once you're granted a trademark, you are legally obliged to protect it or else you lose it immediately. Or, I don't know if it's immediately, but you lose it.
It
There's...
just means like
Yeah.
you just have to prove that you defended it, otherwise it means nothing.
Yeah.
Well,
That's the
it's
weird
all...
thing about it. It's like they're not necessarily trying to be horrible, but this is what the law requires. Apparently.
The law
And
is
then
very
also-
vague, too, on that matter. It's all... Because you have to... It's vague and very subjective on how it's worded. You have to protect your trademarks in instances where there could be confusion. There's no confusion between Candy Crush Saga and Banner Saga. I'm sorry.
Or Saga Frontier and
But that's
Romancing
the problem.
Saga.
Or anything with
Like,
candy
you
in its
just really
name.
focus on the title, and that's it.
Yep. I should go trademark the
also-
word "the" and troll people and get rich off of that.
Also in chat, we have B. Mullins, who says that Candy Crush Maker King.com has said in a statement that it won't be enforcing the trademark over the word candy against app developers who are legitimately using the term. We've trademarked the word candy in the EU as our IP is constantly being infringed, and we have to enforce our rights and to protect our players from confusion.
So yeah, I read that before online too, and I was like, okay, that sounds okay. But then when they started going after
Banner
the Banner Saga, and when I don't know, this article showing that the same company, blatantly ripped off this other game that this other indie developer was making, yada yada yada. Then I started being like, oh well, okay, maybe. I don't know if
Yeah.
these
Maybe
guys
there
are
are some
speaking
actual...
out of both sides of their mouths. So
Yeah,
I don't
most of King's games are clones at best.
It
Some,
worked for Zynga, maybe we should try it too.
yeah. I
It's
mean,
not like everyone hates Zynga.
I mean, Candy Crush Saga, ridiculously popular for some unknown reason, but there's nothing innovative or a single unique idea in that game.
Dude, it has
what is
candy
it, just
in it.
like
What are you on about?
Bejeweled or something?
It's a match 3 puzzle game. Yeah.
Yeah, basically.
With candy instead of jewels.
Crushing.
Yeah. So, Yeah, so that's what King said. I don't have much reason to believe what they said. So
Yeah, they've clearly, as Rob said, they're speaking out of both parts of their mouth now because they went after Banner Saga. Legitimate app.
the funny thing is this
Yeah.
spawned a game jam. There's the Candy Game Jam that's going on
Oh my god.
that
That's
was
brilliant.
made to mock King for their trademarking scumminess, apparently. And that's pretty hilarious. Every game in the Candy Game Jam has candy in its title.
Nice.
And
They
quite a lot
should
of
make
have
sure to
Saga
sell
in there
all
too.
those too, just so they're actually making money off of them to rub it in their face.
Yeah. Like Chasm developers making Candy Chasm. I don't remember what the premise of it was, but it sounded pretty
Sounds like a
entertaining.
great place to live, Candy Chasm.
It does, doesn't it? So, yeah, I wish I knew more about copyright law, but unfortunately, or trademark law, excuse me,
Yeah.
copyright law is just as bad, but trademark law and copyright law are extremely flawed and outdated, is the main
That's the thing.
problem here.
That's the thing that's been highlighted. There's not so much like, oh, King are horrible or whatever. The main thing to take away from it is just that something is up with trademark law.
Yeah, definitely.
It's very outdated for the technological age. I mean, that shit was, they came up with that long before, digital download and games were being made like crazy, and yeah, it's just horribly out of date.
There's so many games and only so many words in the English language.
Exactly.
Hmm.
That's why yours is called Project Stormos.
Yeah, that is actually part of why.
Just make up a whole new word.
That's a lot of web stuff, though, like making
Oh,
up
yeah.
things like Twitter and words missing vowels and stuff like that. It's just so that it can not be mistaken for something else and easily searchable.
And then you're not a scumbag when you trademark it either, because you made the word.
Yeah.
It's not a common generic English language word, so. All I did have another little piece of news I wanted to touch on is that either now or soon, Steam will be allowing refunds for pre-orders. I about said early access because that's a topic that's everywhere lately. But for pre-orders, without having to use a support ticket and wait and go through that hassle, you can just click and get refund.
So it's just for pre-orders. I haven't actually looked into this, but I heard about it.
Yeah, just for pre-orders. You don't get refunds on Steam for anything. You get one, and then their support's not going to ever want to give you a refund for a game again. So
So you can pre-order, then back out.
yeah, which is perfectly legal, and you always could, but you had to go through Steam support, submit a ticket, and wait, and that's probably a big load on their support team as well. That's really pointless to have.
Does
Yeah.
it
The thing is,
automatically
Steam-
charge your card once the game is out if you've pre-ordered?
Yes, or well,
Okay.
hard when you place the pre-order.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd imagine this is kind of when I spoke to someone from Steam, I can't remember who. He said that when they were changing stuff for the green light to make sure it was speedier and they could get more games onto Steam through Greenlight, they had to throw out fax machines and that kind of thing that were doing it all before. So it's obviously like a lot of their systems, they're still having to update a lot and speed up and that kind of thing. So I'd imagine it's just part of that. Because obviously, I think their direction is to try and make as Steam as accessible for any developer
Streamlined.
to put their game on. Yeah, it's just like you'll just have to fill out a form about your game, and then in a few hours it could probably be up, or maybe like it'd probably be have to go through a submission process and be approved, but that's about it.
Yeah.
Whereas now it's a lot. Well, it used to be a lot more difficult. Now you just go on Greenlight and have to wait.
Yep. And I'm sure
It's all being
there's
sped up.
a lot of people out there that just are turned off by even trying to get a refund just because they're having to go through support. Because no one likes messing with any kind of support systems, like ticket systems. It's not fun. And a lot of people might just be like, man, never mind. I won't back out of my pre-order because of that. So it's more consumer friendly, which is what I like. Anything that's more consumer friendly is a plus. And there was a good question by B. Mullins in the chat. In Steam Wallet money or real money? I am pretty sure it would be refunded to you in the method that you paid with, paid for. If you paid for it in Steam Wallet money, you'd probably get it back in Steam Wallet money. If you paid for it on a card, the charge would be, taken off your card. Pretty sure. I can't guarantee that, but that's how I presume. That's how I assume it would be. Because they have to do it that way when it comes to, money, getting money back on pre-orders in the first place. So that's how it works now. You submit a support ticket, and then they refund the same way you paid. So that's my assumption on it.
What's the reason for pre-ordering stuff besides, like, do they offer bonuses for pre-orders?
Most of the time you get pre-orders or pre-order bonuses, yeah.
Yeah.
Pre-ordering is something I don't like.
It used to be, like, I remember, like, going to, like, electronics boutique or something and pre-ordering a game where you put, like, $5 down or something like that, and that was just a guarantee you got your copy of it.
Yeah.
But if it's online, there's no reason.
Yeah, the digital age, that's obsolete
on
now.
Steam, that is. Yeah.
Yeah, Steam's done some things where, like, if so many people pre-order this game, this bonus for everyone that pre-order it gets unlocked, and it's real scummy. Pre-ordering's something I don't like. You shouldn't be putting money down on a game for sight unseen. When there's no videos, no reviewers have got copies of it yet. Then you get situations like Aliens Colonial Marines, where it was embargoed till release day, so there was no information out about it, and it was top on Steam sellers because of pre-orders, and then it came out and it was garbage. So pre-orders is basically a route for them to rip you off, is all it is.
The even more annoying thing about Colonial Marines is that they actually let journalists play the game before, like months before, but it wasn't actually the final game. It was like what they showed the journalists wasn't actually in the final game. It was a lot better than the actual game. So it was like that kind of, I don't know what we can say about that. It's just completely ruined that whole pre-order system.
Yes, yeah,
Really
the bait and switch and the fake game that wasn't the real game being shown at shows. Yeah, all of that. But now there's
just say it's.
I was just gonna ask, do the developers get the money when the pre-orders, or do the developers still have to wait until the game comes out for the money from the pre-orders?
My understanding is they get the money from the sales, on pre-orders whenever Steam or whatever company normally would send out the money if it's a month behind or whatnot. So pre-ordering is a method of pre-release revenue.
Okay.
And yeah, some people are like, well, what's the difference between early access and pre-ordering? Well, early access, you get the game.
Yeah, exactly.
Big difference.
Just alpha funding.
Yeah, exactly. Or beta funding, whatever you want to call it. No, I don't have a problem with early access. Hopefully not, since Rob's games are both in early access, but not Steam early access, but early access. But the difference is something that's in early access, there's no NDA on that. So there can be videos and written words about the game, so you can do your research and see if you think the game's worth your money and if you want to get into it early or not.
Yeah, plus you can give feedback to the developers, which is always cool.
That's a very fun. Yeah, I like that experience a lot, actually.
Mm-hmm.
You can't do that with pre-orders, definitely not.
Nope. So there's a big difference between early access and pre-orders. And if you don't like early access, then just wait. But pre-ordering something completely sight unseen is not generally a good idea, in my opinion. There are a few games I've made exceptions for on that, so I'm not. I might be a little hypocritical on that. I can't remember what few recently, but they're. But for the most part, I don't pre-order games.
Yeah. No reason to. Again, they have to give you a really good bonus, or you have to already know the game's going to be good. Otherwise,
it's pretty much you have to really trust the developer if you're going to pre-order a game.
Mm-hmm.
And if you have a game on pre-order and you hear news about the game's embargoed for any kind of review content until its launch day, go cancel that pre-order. Just my advice, but there's usually a reason when developers do that.
Yeah, confident developers will have the embargo like a week before or something like that.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Well, it's not exactly. I'm terming that wrong, but it's not even embargoes exactly. But there's a lot of developers that, when this bait and switch thing have happened, won't even send out review copy codes at all to reviewers until launch day, and that's even sketchier. That's a bad sign.
Usually, yeah.
All right, I think that's about it for news today. Let's go ahead and jump over to Rob Storm's game. Now, SuperBossGames, how many people are involved in that team?
In the team working on the games, it's me and my buddy Austin Roush from university. We actually had a 2D version of Project Stormos that we made our freshman year of college. That was made in Game Maker. That was actually pretty cool too. And then went back some years later and remade Project Stormos in Unity 3D, and then also did the same with Intruder, which actually originally started out as a Half-Life 1 mod.
All right, go ahead and give the folks your elevator pitch on what Project Stormos is. I can't say that word for some reason.
Project Stormos, we dub it the anti-platformer, or like the floor is lava, the game, because it's completely based on trying to chain together as many air combos as possible until you get to the end of the level. So it's played from a 2D view, and what you do is you have this aerial dash move, and the dash move allows you to move in any direction you want in the air, but you can only keep doing it as long as you accurately hit these target orbs that are in the air or kill enemies. So if you do that well enough, you can actually make it through every single level in the game without ever touching the ground.
That's always really tough to do that. I've only done that on 2 stages so far, and the secret stages you get as a result are surprisingly difficult.
Yeah, the secrets, every time you get a no platforms on a level, then you unlock the secret SP levels, which are the special levels, and those just are really, really difficult. They're like a harder version of the original level.
I have not done any of that. Hey, Rob, go ahead and start up a multiplayer room, would you? And we can get GingerDragon in and Chris if he wants to.
Yeah, alright. Let me start it up.
This game has a very interesting multiplayer method where it's more like simultaneous single player and spectator.
Yeah.
You don't really interact with each other at all, but you see each other in chat, which is good for getting, get a high level, a good player in there and see how they do stuff. It's a great learning experience, actually.
Oh, whoa.
Alright, I have a server up right now.
Alright.
And I just joined it. I'm going to go ahead to level 1.0 here. You going to come in, Chris?
I'm trying to see if I have the game on here still. I might not be able to get in, but I'll have
One thing I have to say about this game... Oh, I didn't fire up
hello
X-Patter. Hold on a second. I have rigged up X-Patter to use my controller because I cannot platform at all on a keyboard. It's just something I am incapable of doing, apparently.
It's all about the keyboard.
Chris says it.
Okay, here we go. Wait, I have to commend you guys. The multiplayer is extremely painless, which can't be said for most indie games. Unfortunately, no Hamachi, no IPs, no firewall, Windows firewall messing around with that.
Yes. Thank Photon for that setup. That's what our network stuff goes through, which is a pretty cool service if you're making a Unity 3D game.
Hey, I beat that level on the first try.
Thanks.
That was a lot better than last night.
Yeah, that's the thing with the game, is once you get that, it's like kind of riding a bicycle. Once you get that moment where it clicks, then you never forget just how to go through whatever. Doing the no platforms and stuff like that gets a lot easier.
Yeah, we'll talk about that.
It's
very interesting. This is a platformer with optional platforms. There's actually a challenge on every level to complete the level without... Oh, that didn't work. Without touching any platforms besides your starting platform, correct?
Yes, without touching any platforms besides the start. So,
wow,
and that's
aim is
that's
off.
possible on every level, even the unlockable harder levels.
Honestly, I almost feel like it's easier on the harder levels to not touch the ground.
Oh, hey, I just found a hidden path.
Well, yeah, the other thing, too, is about finding the hidden paths, because sometimes you might think you're going on the main path, and you're like, oh, there's no way to do no platforms on this, but there's always some way that you might find later that's totally different for getting to the end of the level, which can really speed up your times as well, if you're a person that likes speed running.
There we go.
Ah!
What are you on island? Are you in Islands 2 right now?
Me,
I'm in the wrong
Dunes
level.
3.
Hold on. I'm actually gonna go to the main menu here, unlock the secret stage.
I missed. My aim is terrible. I'm trying to use an analog stick because the D-pad on this generic 360 controller is terrible.
Hold on, I'm gonna join you on the level you're on.
Yeah.
Yeah, hang on. Let me catch up.
Let's talk about level editor. Because this game has a level editor, which one of the coolest features about multiplayer is, again, the actual multiplayer is kind of like just spectator and multiplayer at the same time, because the orbs that everyone takes are still there for you, same with enemies. So it's cool, but no interaction. But that is completely reversed in level editing, because you can do multiplayer level editing with real-time collaborative editing.
Yep.
Nice.
Pretty neat. It's really fun to have one person playing and then another person editing the level as the other person's playing, so you could add in a platform or take a platform away while you're playing with someone else, or maybe use one of the green jumper orbs to hit someone in the air while it's still on your mouse cursor. That's pretty neat too.
I created a bullet hell level once, and that was hilarious.
Oh god.
Oh yeah, one of the hardest levels I played was from one of our community members made a level which had none of the orange target orbs in it.
Oh
and
god.
And no platforms either. It was only made of the red bullet cannons, and you had to stand on those to get to the end of the level. That was just frightening.
Oh, man.
Hey, GingerDragon, my Twitch is messing up. Can you time out that guy in chat?
Sure.
You'll probably see who I'm talking about.
Probably. Yeah, I think I see who you're talking about.
Out of, yeah.
It's just, where's the timeout button? There you go.
It's probably not too interesting for people to watch me failing over and over again. Maybe I should have GingerDragon stream this.
Where are you on Islands 3?
I don't know.
I actually haven't gotten too far to the islands yet. This week has been surprisingly difficult. Or not
Here,
difficult, but
check out this shortcut over here. You could go down, or you could just go through the laser walls over there.
Yeah, they're full of shortcuts.
Tons of shortcuts that'll...
Yeah, there's multiple paths through every level.
We haven't discovered.
No, I'm falling. Whew.
Save yourself!
oh, come on.
Save yourself!
The game is surprisingly difficult, and I really like it.
It is. People that are really good and really like those super difficult precision platformers and speedrunners should love this game. I will also mention, this game is only $5. It's in alpha stage, but you can get the game right now on the website, and you can go ahead and drop your link to the game in the chat if you would like, as well as say the website out loud so the VOD people will hear it.
ProjectStormos.com. It currently has 61 levels, which includes a boss battle and as many player levels as you want.
This is the one I never beat yesterday.
Let's do it. You can take. There's a path that if you go on it, it'll take you right to the end of it. But this is one of the harder levels in the beginning by far.
Oh, and I missed the green thingy.
The jumper.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
This game is crazy fun, though.
Oh yeah, it feels really good to just soar through a level without touching the ground.
Yes.
Like, even more than just that satisfaction of knowing you did it, it just feels right.
Yeah.
There you go. Oh, Islands 2S has been unlocked. Ooh, yeah.
Chris is cruising through this. He's definitely been through these levels a couple times.
I can definitely see how keyboard is definitely more precise than trying to use this analog stick, but I tried keyboard and I failed even more trying to use the keyboard. I don't know, I've never been I've never really played many platform games on keyboard. I grew up playing platform games on consoles, so I've never been one to play platforms on keyboards, and it's just kind of been a handicap till this day. Okay, I got through that part.
You ever played Castlevania Symphony of the Night?
That's I never have. I hear it's one of the better Castlevanias, but.
Alright, here, follow me, follow me. Kill some of those guard robots and then follow me, okay?
Yeah, that's what I'm just doing, trying to clear them out.
How many charges do you got? Get 3 charges.
Yeah, you showed me this last night, but I never made it work, right?
Now, alright, let's see, here, let's go up here, actually.
Okay.
And then kill these guard, hold on, I'm gonna show you a cool trick. A cool trick. Alright, now here's what I'm gonna do.
Scared.
I'm gonna dash. Yeah, too scared, too scared.
They're shooting at me. I don't like those guys. I took him out, so.
Alright, so now what you're gonna do is you're gonna dash down 2 times into the platform that you're on. While you're standing on it, hold down and press dash a couple times. That's a platform jump, and it's kind of a secret move, but it can get you way higher, so just dash straight down, and then don't touch anything after you hit the green ones. Don't touch anything.
Hey, I beat it!
Yeah!
See, there's a few things that the tutorial lacks that I've noticed would be that you can slash after you've hit a jumper, when you do the, when you're going through midair. That's very useful to know. And that platform jump.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where I say, is this something I should tell people, or should they discover themselves? There's lots of different angles you can come at that from.
Yeah.
Oops.
Oh, shit.
I'm just gonna chill here on this jumper orb.
No, I'm out of... Oh,
Like, you can splash down when you're in the air, which is a good thing to know, too. If you hold down and hit slash, then you'll do a diagonal downward slash, which is really useful for hitting some enemies or some of the orbs.
One thing I gotta say about the slash, it's not slash, it's a poke, a stab. It has a very small radius, which it doesn't seem like it should by the weapon he's holding, in my opinion. It kind of threw me off at first. It's a very small attack radius with it. It seems like it should be like a 90-degree slash, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's not like a Terraria slash or anything like that. It's definitely a straight horizontal slash, which is certainly based off of games like Symphony of the Night. I mean, if you've played Symphony of the Night, then the controls are really similar to that.
Can't believe I actually made it through these couple levels.
Oh,
wow, lots of bouncers. This is cool. Oh, I dashed when I shouldn't have dashed. Oh, hey, I just found a surprise bouncer. That saved my life. Then I missed. There we go. Surprise bouncer. My aim is terrible.
I'm slowly catching up.
You can make it, Dragon.
We got this.
You can do it. It's all about the support. You can do this.
Out of dashes.
Cheerleaders. There we go. Well, that stage is actually surprisingly easy.
Yeah, compared to 4 or 5 is a lot easier on the islands level.
I'm just using this bouncer to take out these enemies.
It's not a bad plan.
I do like
Whoa.
how freeform it is. There's a lot of different ways to go about a level, which would make this
really
great for speedrunners.
Yeah, it's really cool when I watch maybe like someone who's playing on YouTube that's a really good player, and they create a path that I didn't even know like that you could do. Like, and I made the levels, and I'm like, oh, I never thought about going that way.
So people not like me.
Okay.
I missed the green things. You do kind of have to aim those. This island is tilting. The starting platform is tilting.
Yeah. It does that.
It's kind of messing with me. I thought I was drunk.
It's got the tilts. something I want to do in the future, I'll tell you a secret, and it's actually something I did do a long time ago before this version of the game, was if you notice in the back of this level, in the background, there are actually some platforms and orbs that are sitting in the background. You see that?
Yes.
Well, there was actually an orb that would shoot you into the background, and then you would start playing in that background area that you can see right now.
That would be a
pretty
trip.
Cool. And yeah, it was a nice part of like how the game is 3D, even though it plays on a 2D area. Hey,
Yeah, it's 2.5D.
A little bit like Donkey Kong Country Returns or Rayman Legends in that respect.
Yeah.
Whoa, what the hell?
If you hit that
little hoop at the top right?
If you dash into the hoop, then you have to jump out of it. Whichever direction you dash into it determines the direction it goes, and then you have to hit jump, and that will launch you out of it.
Ah.
So if you dash to the left in it and then
Damn
jump
it.
out, you can get right to the ending.
I might beat this level eventually.
I think this is actually one of the first levels that I made. A lot of the levels are actually just made in the level editor, though.
Ah!
Well, that
Which
just
is,
means it's a
you
good
know.
level editor, which is awesome.
Yeah. So you can make most of the stuff that's in the normal game just in the level editor itself.
I am a big fan of anything with user-generated content, so...
Yeah. My friend Stefan would always make theme levels, like one of them was called Robo and the Minotaur, and in it you would have to go through a maze, and then using those purple walls and all that, he drew a Minotaur that you had to hit its heart, and its heart was the ending of the level. That was pretty cool. And so it was like the maze bit of it too. There's like a maze of these purple walls that kill you instantly.
Oh man.
Death walls.
Yeah, a lot of the user-generated levels are harder than the ones in the game.
That's what always happens in any game with user-generated content, is... users are sadistic.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's always gonna be that one guy. I remember in the old Time Splitters Future Perfect campaign editor, you could give a unit grenades, but for some odd reason they would treat the grenades like a machine gun and just fire them in bursts of 7 at a time. So I mean, if you gave them plasma grenades, which are an insta-kill and stick on you, that was pretty much just it. The stage would have been really unbeatable.
Damn. Well, my dead body found a hidden path for me and hit a bunch of green things.
Not a bad strategy.
I wouldn't call that a good strategy, but
It's
it's serviceable.
It works. Oh no.
Whoops, I finally died. I was just floating around that area that GingerDragon is in right now for...
I actually don't know where the ending of the stage is right now. Oh, I see it now. Oh, shit. It's going all the way over there.
It's kind of is a little bit of a mazy level, isn't it?
Yeah, this level has tons of paths in it, and
Wait, did I see it?
definitely mazy. It's just to the left of the area that you're on, but if you want an easy way, I would suggest taking the ring and jumping.
Well, I already wasted the ring. I thought one of the enemy bullets way high up in the sky was the goal.
It's just to the left of where you just were, though. I would use the ring to get to the end, because this section, if you just take the orbs, is pretty tough unless you plan it out well. A good strategy, too, is to use your sword as much as possible instead of dashing. Because if you use your sword to hit an orb in the air, then it will actually suspend you in the air for a second. Plus, it will give you a charge and not use a charge. So,
okay, getting over those hidden things is not easy. I'm gonna go ahead and show another feature where you can actually focus on one of the multiplayer guys and watch him. I will go ahead and watch Rob here. It does it from a very your point of view, so you kind of see him in the very distance, but which makes the level look really interesting when you're looking at it from the side.
Yeah, it's a good advantage of the 3D stuff. I'm just kind of seeing how long I can stay in the air without touching the ground right now.
I died somehow because this tilting island.
Oh, the tilting platform fell over. Yeah, that's something I want to experiment with. To see
Oh
if
no!
What happens if I look at you while you're on a different level? Because people can be on all different levels when they're in the same multiplayer room.
I think it just won't look at me if you do that.
I wish I could look at it from your point of view so we could show the stream some skilled play, but...
Yeah. If you get, you could get closer to me and then see, as long as no enemies are coming to shoot you.
Yeah, when it lasts. Oh, I was about to fall off the tilting island again.
There's some non-tilty islands. Another fun challenge is to try to play the game while you're spectating someone else.
Screw that noise.
Finish stage. Ooh.
Oh, nice job.
It. Come on, just
Great
dash
job.
right.
Whoa, what is this? Embryo.
Oh, that's the boss, man.
Oh wait, boss. Oh, this game is boss fights. That's awesome.
That's terrifying. This game's sadistic enough.
Yeah, I didn't notice I could just go straight into the other world, but
yeah,
who skips a boss fight?
It kind of wrecks you at first. But there have been people who have beaten it in under 40 seconds, which is nuts.
Nice. Oh.
Okay, I want to eventually beat this level, I swear to God.
That cry it makes is terrifying.
I love this game, but I'm terrible at it. I'm just going to say that.
Follow me, sir.
Oh, you cannot jump on Embryo.
No, that will electrocute you.
What do you think this is, Mario? What the hell? Ah! You don't technically die after taking one bullet, but usually it's gonna kill you if you get tagged at all in this game. It's pretty unforgiving that way.
There's a small chance. Well, it's normally a bullet will take away one of your charges, but if you only have one charge left, then it will juggle you. So you have a very small chance of living if you got shot when you only have one charge left. Because your charge is like your dash power and HP at the same time.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Alright.
Yeah. So,
most of the time, I only have one charge left.
Man,
that's why you gotta collect.
4 swings per nut. This is gonna be a long boss fight. Oh, 5 swings per nut.
Here, follow me this way. And then do exactly as I say.
Whoa!
Alright.
I can't. This guy's killing me.
Jump on these, and then hang out up here. Alright.
And I just got nailed. That guy hit me from way, way off left field. I should have killed that son of a bitch. God, it is so fast-paced and wonderful, and I just missed everything. Let's try this again.
Chris, let's try to hang out here as long as possible. Yeah, get to the same spot. I'm gonna challenge Chris to see who can float around in this area the longest.
Show off. Thing you could do in this game, do sort of like a survival mode, just see who can last the longest in a series of limited spawning orbs.
Yeah, some people have levels in the level editor that are like just survival modes. Like there's no ending to it. You're just trapped in a box with all these lasers shooting at you at the same time, and you try to see how long you can stay up while you're in there. It's pretty neat.
Oh no!
All right.
Oh!
Right, follow me.
Just a second, I'm clearing these bastards out.
Clear them out. Clear them out. All right, just jump off here a little bit. And then hit these. Now don't do anything once you get to the top. Alright, collect these orbs. Just do little spins. Little twirls. Alright, now see this ring over here?
Yep.
Alright, so what you're gonna do is you're gonna hold left and dash into it, and then you're gonna jump out of it. Once you're gonna hold left, dash into it, and then you have to jump out of it over. You're gonna see the rest of the level. So can you click my name right now?
Just a second.
No one's shooting at you.
Yep, I got your name clicked.
So watch what I'm gonna do, and watch where I jump out. Because this is definitely the easiest way to clear this part. You just need to know how to use the ring. So I'm gonna dash into this. And then I'm gonna jump out over here where Chris is standing.
So it like launches you? Is that what the ring does?
So you have to dash left, and then you press jump when you're over by where Chris and I are in Red Radish.
Oh no, the laser! Ah.
Jump! Aha!
Yeah, now go to the top. You got it. Yes.
It didn't actually show the ring move with you when I was watching you, so that confused me for a second when the ring was going with me.
So now you can either try the unbelievably difficult boss fight or the cliffs levels.
Boss fight.
I got him down to 2 volts. It was so close.
Oh, damn it.
This boss fight is actually really awesome, by the way.
Thanks. Yeah, we're trying to think of some new ideas for new boss fights. That would be something I'd want to do in a next version of the game.
What am I supposed to do with this guy? Besides...
The bolts.
Hit the bolts. Strike them with your sword. With your slightly cloud-like sword.
When I'm falling and trying to hit or just slash orbs, I fail at that.
Boom!
Yeah, that's the saving yourself as you're falling to your death is a critical
Oh no, the laser!
technique. It's a good feeling too. And you're like,
oh,
I'm falling. Oh, I got one.
Don't hit the boss. Don't touch the boss.
No.
Yes. Not until the end.
Oh, so there's a phase even after the second one now. It's not just
Oh,
kill
whoa.
and he
What did I
dies.
say? I didn't say anything.
Okay, I just need to get up to these higher platforms so I don't...
Yeah, it's not easy when you stay on top
I
of the
always
boss.
hit that green thing and it launched me where I don't want to be.
5. Ooh,
How many you at, Ginger?
I'm at 4 left. This pink laser always gets me. There we
This, the laser sword.
Yeah. Alright. No, catch one! Ooh.
I saw that, but now I'm falling.
Ah, dang. Yeah, so far closest I've gotten was 2 bolts step left.
2 bolts left. I think 2 laser swords come out once there's...
Well, that bolt kicked my ass.
Oh, we lost someone. Oh, we lost Rob.
Uh-oh. No, Rob, come back.
It's recalling him automatically. Let's see if we get him back.
We don't lose connection to the guy that's in the
Rob's
UK.
Looks like he's looks like Rob's back.
Did I lose connection?
Yeah.
Love connection?
How do you lose How do we lose the guy that's not in the UK? Of our guests, you would think he would be. We'd lose Chris. Do we still have
I could hear
Chris?
you guys the whole time.
Ah,
Really?
Chris, are you still in here?
Yes.
Concentrate.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
He's in the zone.
He's a man of few words.
By any means. Oof.
This is why I write. You see.
And not speak.
Playing and commentating is definitely a skill that takes practice.
Oh yeah, it's not easy.
No, I was terrible at it my first couple of videos.
Oh,
I'd say
damn
go
it.
watch my first early videos, but they're pretty goddamn terrible, so don't do that.
Ooh, no. I just got juggled by red bullets.
I cannot even get rid of one of these damn...
Well, if you ride them on the way down, you can, or not even on the way down, just anywhere other than when they're going up, you can actually just ride it. Like the up boost from hitting it with your sword.
We're gonna watch
is,
GingerDragon for a little bit.
What was that? Alright.
Because I can't even get up towards the top. I always hit that green thing and miss everything on the way down, and I'm pretty damn terrible at this.
Oh, yeah.
This level's a lot easier if you actually use the platforms that are on the side. Once you eliminate the first 4 and the swords start coming out, then
Oh yeah, you pretty much.
you can kind of hang on the platforms if you want to.
Does
you want to do
does
it.
this boss have a platform free reward as well?
No, the boss doesn't have an SP version. I'd have to think of a harder version of what it currently is.
Laser sword, where are you? Get out of here.
That's terrifying thought. Somehow I died. I must have got hit by a red bullet while I was watching GingerDragon.
Yeah, that's possible at the beginning. Is sometimes the red bullets can hit the platform that you start off on. nice technique is to go on the inside wall between where the laser sword is, and
Oh yeah, that's right. It is limited by that, isn't it?
yeah, you can save yourself from that if you can't get away from it.
Ooh, this is a tense fight. I like it. I hope all the boss fights are like this.
Oh yeah.
So
Crushed and burned.
this boss music is awesome, by the way.
Second sword has started.
The music in the game was fun to work on too.
Oh, it sounds good. No. Ooh.
GingerDragon's like, it's music.
Oh, no. I was gonna say something like, yeah, I'd imagine so. It's good music, but then laser sword.
Oh. You're gonna say something more profound, but then you got distracted by boss.
Yeah, I got distracted by the realization that I'm actually a mortal creature. Oh my god, die! Wait, no, not now, motherfucker.
No, I missed. Oh, I was actually doing kind of good.
Wait, oh my god, he has 15 more health. Are you kidding me?
Alright, all you gotta do is get to the center and just dash through him a bunch of times in the center.
Alright.
Do it, you got
I almost
this.
lost it. I'm still losing it right now. I need a green orb.
You got this.
Ah, damn it! Ah.
Ah,
the home
jump
stretch.
didn't work.
Oh man, this boss fight is real awesome though. Wait, what the hell? How is that one taking damage? Hold on, I think when you guys hit it on your screen and mine just so happens to be in the same place, it looked like it took damage from you as well.
Okay, I failed all the way down to the bottom. I finally got rid of one of the bolts and then just missed everything on the way down.
Oh.
Yeah, the best place to sit with the bolts is probably at the top.
Yeah, definitely.
And the top or left side. Maybe right side's pretty good too if you just kind of hang out on the green jumper. The right side's not too bad. Because there's a couple jumpers there you can just hang out on. I'm just kind of going around in circles.
Yeah, nice try. Yeah, I was originally trying to
Damn
chase
it!
the bolts down below the boss, but I know
That does not work.
That's my idea.
Below the boss is probably the most difficult because if you mess up, then you have nowhere to fall but just like to your death.
Yeah.
And
That's what
it's-
happened to me last time. Like, I tried to
Speaking
hit
of
the
death.
sword, and then I missed everything on the way down.
Yeah,
Exactly, that's what I
anywhere
keep
but-
doing.
Yeah, anywhere but the bottom is good for killing the bolts. Because you can actually just like kind of drop into some other bolts if you fail, falling from the left or right side, for instance.
Alright. Oh, wait. Next way, 2 HP per dash through. Or I just got lucky. Kaboom. Up. Oh, man. I'm getting the hype.
Damn it! I just got juggled by the laser balls. I was actually getting kind of good at staying aerial.
Dead!
Aw, the stupid laser balls.
No platform's failure. To hell with that. No thank you.
Yes.
That was awesome.
So you beat the boss, Ginger?
Yep. He's dead.
Pretty slick.
I've destroyed one. Ah, stupid laser balls, they're juggling me again. There we go. I've destroyed one bolt so far.
They like to call me laser balls.
Okay. Stupid. Okay. I'm not gonna ever beat this guy. At least not in this stream, that's for damn sure.
We can move on to the cliffs.
It's actually about time to move on with the. Oh, jeez, I actually beat one.
Thanks.
Ah! Okay, I'm alive. Phew. Oh, I'm not alive. Oh, I am alive.
Oh, no. I feel like you can use a spare boost to recover from the red bullets.
Yeah. If you have a spare boost, you can recover at any point you want. So.
One of those green things
You
just
get-
like launches you out completely of the way of the fight, and that's bad. The bottom right. That green thing hosed me.
Alright.
I don't know if it was
I mean,
how I hit
I
it,
guess there's
but
certain. Yeah, there's like usually I go around this level like counterclockwise. I don't often go clockwise on this level when I'm just kind of floating around.
Whoa, 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 where does that go?
ah,
Oh.
did you find a cigarette?
Yeah,
Alrighty then, it's about time to move on with the podcast. We are starting to run out of time. This game is great. You can go ahead and
very.
drop your link again if you want to. It's so much fun. If you're one of those hardcore like Super Meat Boy precision platformer guys, you'll love this game. If you're a speedrunner, you'll love this game. If you like creating levels, you'll love this game.
You'll love this game.
Yes. Even if you suck at it, like me, you'll love this game. I'm going to practice this and actually get decent at it eventually, I swear. I really like the collaborative, real-time multiplayer level editing. I've never even heard of a game doing that, where multiple people can edit the same level in real time. That's pretty badass.
There is a level editor, the most annoying part is always like testing it, because you always have to reboot into it every time. But that fixes that.
Alrighty, and I'm out of the game now, so.
Alright.
God,
Alright.
it's so
jump up
crazy.
Hang on. Let me see. One last try on the cliffs. Get over here, robot.
Well, while you do that, we will go ahead and check out the Kickstarter spotlight this week is To the Death. Let's go ahead and switch this here. And we will play the trailer, so just be quiet for a moment so they can hear the trailer. Let me make sure Skype didn't screw with my sound level on my browser first, though. Okay, we're good.
I'll mute my microphone.
Two warriors have arrived after turning their lands to ash after a lifelong vendetta against one another. The thirst for vengeance is so strong, they've broken free and are racing towards each other, destroying everything in their path. These warriors will stop at nothing to end each other for good. Their fight is to the death.
Hi there, my name is Frank Gigliotti.
And I'm Todd Alderman.
And we're the co-founders of Scary Mostro.
Frank and I have been working together for 11 years at companies such as Infinity Ward and Respawn Entertainment.
Our past titles include the Call of Duty series and Titanfall.
And now we're working on a new game. We've teamed up with Cecil Kim of God of War fame and his studio Section Studios to bring a whole new type of game to you. These two warriors have such a deep vendetta against each other. They've died. They've finally killed each other. And in that space between life and death is the crawl. Along the way, you get to play each side, alternating perspectives, and seeing their story from their different views. I loved playing beat-em-ups like Final Fight, Double Dragon, and shooters like Gradius and Life Force, and bringing those two genres together in this brand new way with all the technology and advancements and new systems that have been invented since then, and putting them together and making this brand new style of game that you really haven't played before. It just feels right.
Scary Mostro had a working prototype with the combat and all the gameplay plugged in, and we sat down and we shared our vision together, and we wanted to be a partner on this project.
Cecil started running with it right away and created a few concept characters, and there's one in particular that I remember seeing and really visualizing what this game could be.
So you can play two-player co-op with your buddy, but there's also this great split-screen mode where each player is playing as the other warrior, and you're running towards each other and building your characters along the way. So you can see what your buddy is choosing for his powers, and you can sort of counter that with what you choose, and it's a back-and-forth action where you're ultimately culminating in the middle where you're fighting the boss at the same time.
The moment I played the prototype, I knew the gameplay is so fun and it's convincing.
Seeing that game for the first time was a throwback for us, and just the side-scrolling, that sort of mechanic was what we grew up with.
I'm confident that when you play this game, you are going to have a whole new gaming experience.
So we've taken the first steps in making To the Death a reality. Now we need you. We need you to join our team and help us bring To the Death to the world.
And that is the To the Death Kickstarter trailer. Everybody still here?
Yep.
Yep.
You guys are still playing, aren't you?
No.
Okay.
I saw the trailer.
All right.
It looks cool.
It does. It looks, well, very aerial, but it's a mix of a beat 'em up and a shoot 'em up, which is a pretty awesome idea in my opinion.
And certainly their pedigree is definitely nothing to sneeze at.
They
Albeit
are.
it has nothing to do with what they're currently working, but it proves
Yeah.
they've got experience.
Exactly. That's a big deal when it comes to a Kickstarter. That's for sure. They are asking for
Some of them work
$400,000.
on God of War.
Yep. Well, in the some of the studio from God of War. Yep. And they're
So
asking
it's
for
kind of related.
400,000, which is pretty steep these days. These kind of higher price point Kickstarters don't work out as well as they used to in a lot of instances. But they're at 28,500 of that with 24 days to go, so very plausible. It's possible. It could happen.
Definitely. Seems like a cool idea, like try you and the other race to get to the center and try and level up your character along the way to beat them. That sounds awesome.
It does, doesn't it? I hope it has online multiplayer to be able to do that, but probably not. The art style is wonderful. God, I love the art style in this game. It all looks very visceral. Oh,
It's cool that
Maybe
the
you're between
players
life
are
and
made
death.
up of the individual limbs and stuff like that, too.
Yeah.
That's a lot like in the old Castlevanias. They would use that where each limb was a sprite, and then they would animate the limbs. I wonder if they're doing that with, like, what's it called? This one Kickstarter that I backed that was for a limb-based sprite animation thing like that, where you're using limbs and bones. That was pretty cool. I wonder if they're using that in particular, but yeah, I like that style a lot too.
Let's go ahead and see what the top tier pledge reward is, because those are always cool things that I wish I was rich and could just throw money at something to get.
10,000. Oh my.
10,000. Dinner with the devs. Hang out with the developers. Let's see what this like the next up one that gives you some kind of something in the game. That's what's always really cool to see. Become part of the Death Warrior's DNA by helping the developers design a power that will be used in game. That would be pretty cool.
Man, that 10,000, do they take you back to the hotel room, too? With that?
I hope so.
The whole...
Yeah, one person got it.
Take the whole dev team back to your hotel room for $10,000.
Yeah. One romantic evening with the development team.
Holy crap, one person's actually backed at $10,000.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that's what we were saying.
That
That's the
person,
romance.
that person, I wish I had his life. That's all I gotta say. You could,
Well, it could be a company.
Yep, it could.
Sometimes they do that.
Well, these guys are from big AAA studios back. Have pedigree from AAA studios, so they might have some big friends.
Yeah, I mean, look, Justin Yin, Riot Games, Harmonix, Sony, and Gearbox. That's some pretty big things to be working for.
That and any game that has gameplay in the trailer is a good
a
good indication that they're serious and that they can possibly make it happen. If I see a Kickstarter, and I know it kind of goes against the whole spirit of what Kickstarter is, but if I see a Kickstarter trailer that is all concept art, no gameplay at all, then I'm like, I don't know. If it is going to happen, it's going to be so far down the road kind of thing. If they ever do make it. But that kind of does go against the spirit of what Kickstarter actually is, I know. But that's just my personal feelings on it. I also
I think that's fair enough, though.
It is, because then it tells you that they have at least some kind of skill to do something, you know? It could be all BS that they put in the trailer, but it's still a little bit better of an indicator than just concept art and them talking. Which also, I like seeing gameplay and trailers, because then those are the devs I message and ask them if they have a playable build they'd send me for me to cover the game, which I'm thinking about doing for this game as well.
That would be cool.
Yeah, and I started doing my Kickin' It series, which is the name of my Kickstarter Spotlight series. Shortly after I started my channel, I had like 10 subs, and devs were still like, sure, take this build of the game and make a video of it. It's like, the first time I sent a message, I was like, well, they're probably going to ignore me, I'm a nobody, but they're like, yes, here, throw it, they just threw stuff at me. So, I don't know, to cover games, Kickstarter is a great place because they're starving and desperate for any kind of coverage they can get. So, because they have a lot on the line. Might seem kind of scummy of me to abuse that, but it works.
Hey, do what you can, come on.
Yep.
Exactly.
In the end, the entire reason for me doing it is to get, to help great games get kickstarted. So that's the end goal. So, all right. So it's about time to start wrapping up. It looks like get done a little bit before 6. That's not the right. There we go. Anyway, they got the black screen for a second because I was checking the wrong boxes on OBS. I'm playing freaking Papers, Please with my Windows over here.
Papers, Please.
You aren't supposed to do that. You have 2 monitors. I'm supposed to be the one who does that.
Yes, because I have like 5 windows open on each monitor, so...
Oh, my God. You would hate being a 1-monitor streamer. Oh, man.
I would never be able to do it, especially streaming. YouTubing would be tough to do that, but streaming, oh, God, I can't even think about that. Living with 1 monitor would be like living in a third world country.
You really have to min-max your space. It's not fun.
Are you getting 2 monitors with your new system?
Oh, yeah. I'm getting a GTX 780, so if I want to, I could get 4 bloody monitors. But nah.
Nice.
Cool.
Once you have 2 monitors, you'll wonder how you lived without it, seriously.
Yeah. Anyways, should we get back to the relevant topic, or...?
Yeah, that's what we do here, is we just go on random tangents. That's what this podcast is all about. And this portion is the outro and chill yourself. So let's go ahead and start with Chris. Tell everybody where they can find you, more information on you, and all that.
This almost feels like you're trying to weed something out of me again.
Maybe.
The best place to... yeah, that's coming soon. At the moment, I write for Pocket Gamer. I do that in the afternoons. Well, it's the mornings for Americans, but the afternoons for me. So pocketgamer.co.uk is where I write at the moment, and my Twitter handle is @CPriestman.
Just look for the guy vomiting a rainbow. It'll be the right Twitter guy.
Mm-hmm. That guy. That's me.
I like how you're at the moment with more had a emphasis on the at the moment. You're teasing us more.
No, I'm gonna be still writing for Pocket Gamer and other stuff. Blah blah something.
As long as you're writing, because you are a very talented writer. I respect your work and read quite a bit of it.
Write.
Good. It'd be a shame if you stopped making words.
Yeah, I couldn't do it. I get itchy.
I mean, it might be an obsolete medium that you're living in the past, but you do it well, at least.
I try.
I'm joking. Before I get any kind of hate mail, I'm joking. Okay.
Chris, like, jeez, man, that was harsh.
Writes vicious email.
Yeah, I'm writing something right now. Okay.
Well, I'm putting this up on my YouTube channel, so comment section. Oh God, comment section.
Oh, yours can't be that bad.
It's not actually bad at all, but when Chris Priestman tweets this out, the VOD out, then people might attack me for smashing his medium. That's what the disclaimer is for. Okay, Rob, how about you? Where can people find you, buy your games, and support you, and throw money at this guy? Do it. The games are great.
People can find us at SuperBossGames.com, and on Twitter is at SuperBossGames. So that has links to Intruder and links to Project Stormo stuff in our forum and all that. If you would like to join our community and hang out, it's got a lot of cool people in it.
And by the way, go ahead and drop your links in the chat, guys. Same with you, Chris.
Yeah,
Drop
sure.
your Twitter link if you want to. And Pocket Gamer, link to Pocket Gamer if you'd like.
I'll try to do that. I'll try. The keyboard's in a weird position.
In front of you? Or not in front of you, is that the problem?
Exactly. Oh, I have to log in, hang on.
You haven't logged into Twitch yet? 2-hour podcast and you haven't logged into Twitch yet. Oh, you're doing it right, Chris. Okay, and Rob got his links out, so go ahead, GingerDragon, shill yourself.
Alright.
Like a shameless whore.
Alright, I'm GingerDragon. I try and do a variety of content on YouTube, but, you know, college just started off and it's been a busy week as a result. But hopefully sometime soon, re-pick it up. YouTube is definitely my main focus, but you can watch me ramble about on Twitter like an idiot, or live stream, where I ramble about in video games like an idiot.
Oh, yeah.
For anyone that didn't know, GingerDragon is going to college for game design, actually, so someday I'll be making videos of his games, assumably.
Assumably.
Yes.
I did the same thing.
90%. Wait, nice.
Nice.
Maybe someday you'll work with Rob. Maybe someday you guys will make a game.
It'll be the greatest game ever.
Get into Unity, man. Good times.
Definitely.
I'm a
You know
big
if I'm
fan of
good about
Unity, so I just love the cross-platform ability of Unity. I mean, Unity is probably the greatest thing to ever happen to Linux gamers.
Yeah.
And I am, of course, Fedora Gamer with a 4 for the A in Gamer, which, as I say every week, is very awkward to say out loud, and I didn't think that through very well. But if you're watching this, you know where my Twitch channel is, and that is twitch.tv/Fedora Gamer. And click the follow button. Mostly the Twitch channel is for the podcast. I want to stream more often. Hopefully I'll start getting some time to do that. But every week, Sunday, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, is the Randomly Generated Podcast with new guests every week. And you can also find me on YouTube. I'm primarily a YouTuber. I cover exclusively indie games, and that is youtube.com/Fedora Gamer. If you're watching this VOD, you're already there. You should click the subscribe button. And there's the links in chat. And did you actually get a link for Pocket Gamer out there, Chris?
Yeah, it's in there. It
All
should
right.
be in there. Hopefully.
Yeah, I see it there.
It's a sea of links in the chat right now, so it's just kind of blurring in my vision. All right, and that is the end of this Randomly Generated Podcast. Thank you, Rob and Chris, for joining us. It was a pleasure.
Hey, thanks a lot.
Thank you
It
for
was
having
a pleasure
us.
as well.
It was fun. Thank you for stopping by.
And thank you, everyone, for watching this, and everyone watching the VOD on my channel. We appreciate it. Bye-bye.
Goodbye, everybody.
See ya.
Bye.